From station WDWL TV in Cleveland, live from Studio 5, we bring you the Too Grumpy Show, starring the grumpy old man. That would be me, and the grumpy vulture. Take your bow. Oh, another graceful one. Oh, yeah. Okay, back in your corner. Yeah, this might be your studio. Give me a break. Back in your corner. There, look at the camera. There, both eyes. There you go. Well, friends, Studio 5, what do you think? A real news desk behind me. Except Studio 5 needs a little ironing. Yeah. Studio 5 has got some wrinkles. I am not too impressed with this studio. I know that looks like something that's under construction. Yeah. Here, I'll move out of the way. I'll show you the news desk. Of course, I've been sitting in front of it, not behind it. Yeah. Out of all the backdrops, this is the one that doesn't really hit me the way the others did. So, here we go. Teresa, since you are a loyal listener and follower of the grumpy old man, I want your opinion on this backdrop. Now, overlook the wrinkles. I didn't hang it long enough. You're supposed to hang it for 24 hours, but I didn't. So just try to overlook the wrinkles. But since you are a loyal nightly listener, on my Faceplant page, I want your honest opinion of this one. To me, it looks bland. It looks like it's still under construction, although those are studio racks for hanging spotlights. To me, it don't really hit me. So since you've seen everything so far, I want your honest opinion of this one. I'm thinking of this one as an every now and then. Now, I realize you haven't seen number 6. That one will be here tomorrow. But number 6 is a super special background. So it's not going to be a regular. You know, like 2, 3, 4, and 5. Grumpy forgot the grumpy old man glasses. Oi. And I tend to think I'm getting the odd impression that there's an echo. I hope not, because usually the Blue Yetis don't echo. But for some reason, it's sounding very strange tonight in my headset. So, if there's a reverb or an echo, I apologize. Usually, with USB mics, you don't have that problem. Maybe I got the... Let me turn the gain down just a little bit. Try that. Sometimes, I'll tell you one, on the Blue Yeti Classics, for some reason, out of the three that I have, this one has a super sensitive gain control. All I got to do is move it a fraction, and sometimes it's too high. So if it's too high, if the audio is echoing, I might have to switch mics. Although this one was tested previously, and I left the settings the way they were, and it sounded okay. So it should be all right. Now, like I say, Teresa, you know who you are. I want your honest opinion on this background. Should it be in the regular mix of studios, or should it be an occasional? Like I say, to me, it doesn't have that kick like the other ones. You know, it looks like I say, a studio that's still under construction. Even though it has a news desk. I don't know. But you got to overlook the wrinkles. Maybe overnight, it'll be a little better. They tell you if the wrinkles are too bad to iron it, but be my luck, I'll hit it with an iron and burn a hole in it. So, since you are a loyal, nightly follower, I want your honest opinion. First of all, do you like it? Should I use it or wrap it up and put it back in the package? And if you think I should use it, how often? Like you say, out of all of them, this is the only one that just, it doesn't give me the impression it's a news studio. Like yesterday, with the news in the background. I really like that one. This one, I could take it or leave it. But I would rather have an honest opinion from somebody on the outside. And be honest. If you think it looks like shit, tell me. When I unfolded it and I hung it up, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to really put this in my nightly mix of rotating studios. Although it would be only used once a week. So, give me your honest opinion. You know, I was doing some thinking today, especially after watching all them Gen Z assholes yesterday. They say the millennial generation is the one generation that has seen more technological changes. I beg to differ. I believe it's the boomer generation that has seen more technology advancements out of let me get the Gen X is from 1965 to 1980. The millennials go from 81 to 96. Gen Z is 97 to 2009. And then Gen Alpha goes from 2010 to 2024. The boomers go from 46 to 64. I believe the boomer generation has seen more changes in technology. We started out with black and white TV and AM radio. There were no microwaves. There were no automatic ice makers. Automatic dishwashers were for the rich. Same thing with automatic washers. A lot of our parents had ringer washers. Television. We started out in black and white. The boomer generation saw the inception of color. We saw the beginning of the computer generation with Steve Jobs, 1977. The first home computer. Now, there were computers for business. The first personal computer was introduced in 1977. We've seen the introduction of the cell phone. We're still daily seeing technology. Take a look at the space launches. Who would have thought that in our day, you would see a space launch and the first stage return to Earth and land next to the launch pad? Back in our day, they fell in the fucking ocean. They actually, when there's separation between first and second stage, that booster comes down and lands right next to the launch pad with cameras on it. We can watch that launch as if we're strapped on the outside of the fucking spaceship. It's amazing. We, in our generation, saw the space lab, space station, whatever they call it, ISS, International Space Station. We don't stop and think. There's people living up there right now. Our generation, the boomers, we saw the inception of that. How they can say the millennials have seen more. I think the millennials have seen a more rapid increase in technology. We've seen the inception. When I talk to young kids and I tell them we had black and white TV, AM radio, landlines, they look at me like, well, I am a dinosaur, but matter of fact, I had one kid ask me how I survived. You didn't know any better. Yeah, if I was to take and put a black and white TV in front of one of these young kids, they would like, oh my God, you watched that? I told them, you don't need a black and white TV. Watch the movie channel. Every now and then they run a black and white movie. We had that all the time. We didn't know better. Yeah, the millennials have seen a more rapid development of technology. The boomer generation has seen the inception. We saw the first computer, the first microwave, the first color TV, the first cell phone, the first PC, the first laptop. We saw that. The millennials have seen it advance. We saw the inception of it. It's amazing to sit here and think what it was when we were growing up. I stop and think of what it was like when I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Nothing like the kids today. We saw the inception of the video game. I remember what was the first one that came out? Pong? Where you had 2 paddles and you knocked a ball back and forth like a tennis ball. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Monotone screen. No color. We had a paddle and a ball. And you'd hit it and it would bonk, 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 bonk. We thought that was the neatest thing. It was better than sliced bread. I believe Pong was the first actual video game. There were others that followed. But Pong, I believe, was the first one. And it was nothing. 2 paddles and a ball. Bonk. Go to the other side. Bonk. Bonk. Yeah. Gargle it sometime. The first video game. You think what you have today is not that good? You can't wait for something better? Go back and look what we had. Our main entertainment as kids was playing board games, not video games. We saw the inception of the touch-tone phone. A landline, kids, gargle it. Yeah, we had dial, rotary, and then came push buttons, touch tone. Oh, I remember when we got our first one. Oh, I thought I was the king shit. I was calling all my friends. And while you were talking to them, you were pushing the buttons, making music. They'd be like, what's that? We have a touch-tone phone. And then yesterday, I showed you the first cell phone, the Motorola Brick. First of all, you were lucky to get a signal. Second of all, you were lucky to make a call across the street. We didn't have cell phone towers like every quarter mile like they have today. Or closer. God, I think they have cell phone towers every half a block. We didn't have that. Cell phone service sucked back in the day. But if you could make a phone call, oh, you were king shit. Look at the advances in automobiles. Go to the museum sometime. Take a look at cars from our era, from the 40s and the 50s. I did have a neighbor that had like a 38 or a 39 Ford, So we saw cars from back in the 30s, but most of the cars we rode around were 40s and 50s. I do believe the boomer generation has seen more technology. The millennials have seen a faster advance in that technology. Yeah, the other day I heard someone say, "Oh, the millennial generation, they've seen more technology." No, the boomers have seen it. Our generation. I'm probably leaving out a ton of shit. I'm hitting the highlights. I think I was 10 years old when we got color TV. I'm trying to think when FM radio came into play. I want to say maybe the mid to late 60s. Yeah, FM, stereo radio. Oh. Now it's sad because AM radio stations are hanging on by the skin of their teeth for listeners. Most of your new cars don't even have fucking AM, although that is going to change. Yeah. AM broadcasting went to the federal government and said, "Hey, these car manufacturers are putting us out of business. Loyal AM listeners can't listen to us in the new cars because you don't have AM radio. So AM will be around for a long time." I'm hoping in the 2025 models, they figure out a way to put AM back into the radio. Because I do like some AM stations. Although, in my 296s, no problem. But if I ride in my sister's brand new 2022 or 2023, I can't listen because her radio doesn't have AM. But that's all we had. I'll never forget my first AM transistor radio. Oh, if we had a handheld radio, yeah, my grandfather bought me my first AM radio. Was a neat one. You could put it in your pocket. Had an earplug. Oh, yeah, you had an earphone. You could listen, and no one else could hear the radio. Oh, we were big shit. If somebody was walking around with an earphone in their ear, we were big stuff. Now your radio's on your cell phone. Gargle. Transistor radios. See what we had. And then we saw that little handheld evolve to an AM, FM radio. And then we had Walkmans. We had Walkman cassette players. And we had Walkman CD players. And Grumpy actually had a Walkman 8-track. Gargle that, youngsters. 8-track stereo. Yeah. I don't know what happened to it. It got lost in one of my moves, but yeah. I had a Walkman 8-track. And then I had my Walkman cassette. And my Walkman CD player. I bought two of each. One, the CD player's hanging right up here in the studio. The AM one, I believe, is under the console. I'll bring them out and show you sometime. Yeah, you could play cassettes in your hand. You had a little cassette player. By then, they had gone to the twin earphones because most of them had FM radios in them. I know for sure my cassette player has an AM FM. I don't know if my... Let me take a quick look here. No, the CD player is just a Walkman CD. We used to have cassette and CD players in our cars. They've gotten rid of them too. You know, just because CDs aren't that popular doesn't mean that we don't play them. I probably have 300 CDs. Although I can use my CD player and plug it into my aux jack on my upgraded radios and play my CDs or my cassettes. Yeah, the auto manufacturers are like, that's old technology. Screw it. We ain't going to put it in a car anymore. Old assholes like me still have cassettes, CDs. But no, we can't play them in our new cars. Then they phased out AM radio. Oh, they made a mistake there. They didn't think that the AM Broadcasting Corporation would sit back and allow that to happen. Yeah, there was a big lawsuit, big one, and they won. Auto manufacturers have to put AM back in the cars. The auto manufacturers made this bullshit argument about something about the ground. You know, we can't ground that radio the way it needs to be for AM. Well, the federal government told them, hey, find a way. I think they gave them till next year. I'm pretty sure by mid-2025, cars have to have AM, FM stereo radios, or infotainment centers, as they call them today. Yeah, it's not a radio. It's an infotainment center. It's an aggravating pain in the ass is what it is. The one day, I was in my sister's car, and the radio was too loud. I went to turn the radio down. I ended up turning off the air conditioner. All them goddamn buttons, fucking menu. They're not making new cars that are old codger friendly, like me. So, when it comes to technology, the baby boomer generation has been around for the inception of more technology than the boomers. The millennials. But the mouth ain't fucking working. Try it again. The millennial generation has seen more advancements in technology We have seen the inception of it. We've seen the cell phone go from a brick to a smartphone. We've seen TVs go from a TV in a box to a flat screen. And we've seen them flat screens go from 24 inches to over 100 now. I can't imagine a 100-inch flat screen TV. I'd be afraid to have something like that hanging on my wall. Not to mention, how do they ship one of them things? It's amazing when you look back like me. And I remember TVs used to be consoles in beautiful wooden cabinets. Now it's a big plastic flat screen. No beauty to it whatsoever. When you turn it off, it's just this big, ugly black spot on your wall. Take a look at some of the TVs from the 40s and 50s. The beautiful wood cabinets. Some of them look like an armoire. You can close the front and hide the picture tube. Some console models had stereos built into them. Oh, they were huge, with beautiful wood cabinets. We've seen that technology go to a flat screen. So when you say the millennials have seen, no, the millennials have seen a more rapid advancement in technology. The boomer generation has actually seen it. The first microwave, the first cell phone, the brick, the first smartphone, the first flat screen. We have seen it. The millennials have seen it get better. It's kind of scary to think back of all the things we didn't have growing up. And then these fucking brats today think they've got it so rough. We didn't have squat when you really come down to it. Our generation had to tough it out. But we learned a lot. First of all, we learned respect. Not kids today. That's a subject for another stream. But when I think back, looking at my flat screen and remembering the 19-inch TV my parents had that weighed about as much as the anchor to the Titanic. Yeah, it wasn't a console. They called it a portable. It took 2.5 people to carry it. Yeah, it was a portable, all right. 19-inch. And you talk about really crappy color. But you appreciated it because it was the first color TV. But if you look at color on the first sets versus today's flat screens, oh my God. Talk about washed out. But we loved it because it was not black and white. Because we grew up in the black and white TV era. My grandparents, they had a 10-inch black and white. They didn't get color for eons. My grandfather said, as long as that TV works, we're not replacing it. And my grandmother, poor thing, had to watch the Cleveland Indians on a 10-inch TV. Oh, she was a big Indians fan. Oh. But what was strange, she never saw a game live. My grandfather used to get free tickets all the time. She never would go to the stadium because she didn't like the stadium announcer. She liked the TV announcer. So she watched the home games when they were televised on her little 10-inch TV. Loyal Indians fan until the day she passed. Oh, God. Don't breathe heavy if she's listening to the ball game. Matter of fact, there were times she put up a curtain between the kitchen and the living room. If you saw the curtain up, she was listening to the ball game. Don't come in the living room. And then you knew when the ball game was over when she took the curtain down. That was her signal. Don't you dare bother me during the game. Even during station breaks. Oh, no. I'd hear the commercial come on. I'd say, hey, Grandma, get out of here. I'm watching the game. Grandma, you're watching a commercial. Don't make no difference. So you stay out of the living room. And then I think it was like 1970 when that 10-inch TV finally burned out. And oh, she hated color TV. Oh, didn't like it. She made my grandfather go buy her a black and white TV so that she could watch her ball game in black and white or any other program. Oh, she wouldn't watch color TV. Oh, she hated color TV. I don't know why. My grandfather come home with that color TV, plugged it in, turned it on. She was like, I don't like it. Turn it off. Go get me a black and white. So we got her little portable black and white, little 13-inch portable. She was happy. It was hilarious. The TVs were turned. Grandpa'd be watching color on this side. She'd be watching black and white on the same program. Like Ed Sullivan Show or Red Skelton. Yeah, he'd be watching in color. She'd be watching in black and white. She hated color TV. She never said why. The first time he turned it on, she said, turn it off. I want a black and white. And I think the next day he went out and bought her a black and white. Because I think that afternoon a ball game was on. Heaven forbid. So when it comes to technology, the millennial generation has seen technology advance. The boomer generation has seen its inception. We saw many of the firsts So I don't want to hear this millennial generation shit. The boomer generation saw the first of many, many items that you take for granted today. Boy, do I go on a rant when I go on a rant. But with that, I'm going to cut it a little short tonight from my usual hour. I have a quiche in the oven. I don't want it to burn. But Teresa, go in my face plant and let me know what you think of this background. Ignore the wrinkles. Imagine they're not there. I might have to iron it tomorrow. But I want your honest opinion since you watch nightly. And with that, I'm going to go check my quiche. I'll chat with you tomorrow. See ya. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. See ya. I'll catch you over that